We got to save that one for 2 weeks, man. We got to save that one for Atlanta. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang coming to you live right here, Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another installment of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Man, I know you guys see this right here behind me, the newest addition out here at the Sound Garden. I tell you guys all the time, John Henderson and Adele do some amazing things, man. This is an awesome, awesome setup. We're going to be doing a lot of new cool stuff out here, and definitely during these concerts, man, that's going to be live action right there, man. So, hey, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Coming back from a great race there at California, which kind of was unexpected. You know, we looked at it. It's supposed to be a short track. It's still the 2 mile. Future's up in the air. We still really don't know, man. But what an amazing race. A lot of stuff to cover, man. So there again, if you're new to tuning in, we like to start the show out with the word of the day. So the way this works is Lawrence is going to throw a word up somewhere. Every time I say that word during tonight's episode, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I always say it's age appropriate as well. Kids can play along, man. Get some sugar. It's Wednesday, hump day, man. Stay up late. Give it a little bit of hell, man. But let's see. Last week's word was rookie. So, I mean, pretty good word. Don't know how many times I said that. We'll see. Probably a few talking about Daytona with Austin Cindric. But at the end of the day, man, if you played along, you probably got a little ripped up. So, like I said, this week's word of the day is going to be, I have no idea. Lawrence will throw it up there. Every time I say that word, make sure you take a sip of your favorite adult beverage, man. So, moving right in, NASCAR news. Hey, with all this craziness going on, man, between Russia and Ukraine, Richard Childress donates 1 million rounds of ammo to Ukraine. NASCAR is even getting involved in this stuff, man. So thoughts and prayers out there to Ukraine and the people of their country, man. I tell you, no matter what, we always like to see peace globally, internationally, locally, everything, man, just peace. So hopefully they get this figured out before it gets a little worse, but we're going to have to wait and see on that. Not a political man, but at the end of the day, man, we got to get this figured out. We got to get it lined out and make it come to an end, man. People are dying. So, hey, Kurt Busch failed in pre-race inspection 3 times, had to start, lost his qualifying rights, had to start at the rear and make a pass-through penalty. Are these new penalties too steep in NASCAR, man? We got a little more on that coming up. My opinion on it. I'd love to hear what you guys think. You can comment on there. Let me know, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, that's pretty steep penalty for failing pre-race inspection. Kyle Larson holds off our buddy here on Rubbin' and Grubbin', Austin Dillon, man, to bring home that checkered flag at California. As we all know, Larson's a California native, so I'm sure that was special to him. Didn't come without a little bit of drama, which we're going to talk about here in just a bit. But there again, Kyle Larson bring home the checkered flag at Auto Club Speedway, man. So, hey, it was great to see Mark Martin in the booth. I hadn't seen him in a lot of years. I know he comes around the racetrack here and there, but, man, looking in great shape to be the age he is, and it was a really, really neat experience there with him and Matt Kenseth up in the booth and as well as Clint Boyer. So, if you know anything about Mark Martin, it's my wife's favorite, her father's favorite driver. She grew up liking him, and he was just a great dude, great race car driver, probably one of the first ones ever to get on a workout regimen to get in better shape to drive a car later in his career as well. So when you hear Mark Martin's name come up, you definitely listen to him talk because he knows a lot about racing and did it for a long time at the highest level. So really neat to see him out there, man. Getting right into it, man, we'll go ahead and recap the Auto Club Speedway race and what a race it was, man. It had its fair share of drama. It had its fair share of cautions. It's had its fair share of pretty much almost anything and everything right there at Auto Club. So big track, 2 miles, and I tell you what, a little bit flatter. As you can see, if you watch the race, spread out throughout the turns. I mean, there's a lot of different grooves. Man, we saw all kinds of guys dominate. We saw Tyler Reddick leading a good part of the beginning part of that race, winning both stages. Had some trouble there, got into the wall, got into William Byron, kind of ruined his day. But I tell you what, strong run out of there, and expect the 8 at some point in time, I think, to get his first Cup Series win this year. There's a couple other tracks where they're coming up here on the schedule. I think he's definitely going to do really good at and excel at. So keep an eye out there for Tyler Reddick to get his first win this season. You heard it right here first, man. Kyle Busch, hey, man, look. You know me, not my guy, not my cup of tea, but spins out early in the race, goes 4 laps down and brings it all the way back with, you know, the amount of cautions that we had. I think it was 11 or 12, somewhere in there. I know it was over 8. But either way, at the end of the day, comes back from 4 laps down to finish 14th. So got to give a little bit of kudos where kudos are due. Big pat on the back out there to the 18, because I will tell you this, the younger Kyle Busch would have given it up and wrecked it into the wall. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of maturity with him. Maybe he's growing a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a fan to keep up with him. To me, he still whines a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, great race car driver, man. And like I said, you definitely got to give respect where respect's due. Coming back from 4 laps either way to finish 14th is an awesome, awesome deal, man. So biggest drama to me, one caution-filled race. I mean, the tires there were absolutely garbage. It's something we're going to talk about here coming up on another segment. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, we got to get something figured out. NASCAR's got to do something with these tire situation. But hey, teammates get into it late. You guys know me. I'm a huge Chase Elliott fan. That's my new driver. Man, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott teammates got into it there with right around 20 to go. We're going to talk a little bit more about this because it's on the list as well, but I was not happy with the outcome of it. Chase battled back from being a couple laps down, from spinning in the lead or spinning right there close to the lead early in the race, comes all the way back up through the field, contending for that race lead and the win, and this happens, but we're going to talk more about that here in just a minute, man. So got to give a couple shout outs here to a lot of good drivers, or a lot of guys that got really good finishes there at Auto Club, man. So Daniel Suarez in the 99 looked like on that last restart he got out in the lead, looked like he might have a shot to get his first Cup Series win. Didn't fold that way for him, but I mean, you had a lot of good a lot of guys up there that you're not used to seeing inside that top 10 compete up there and finish up there, man. So this is what the top 10 looked like at the end. You had Kyle Larson bringing home that win. Austin Dillon in the 3 car came home second. Eric Jones in that iconic 43 number of Richard Petty Motorsports brings it home third. I mean, that was a great run for him. I mean, he had a very, very good short run car there to begin that race and all throughout the race. I tell you what, if they keep bringing equipment like that, Eric Jones might get him a win this season. Going to have to wait and see. Daniel Suarez brings it home fourth. Logano fifth, Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch battled back there through all the stuff that he had to start the race with to get a top 10. And 2 numbers right here, the 16 of Daniel Hamlin and the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse both came home with top 10 finishes. Like I say all the time, this early in the season, those finishes for these teams, not only 1, the stage points, but 2, the money that you get definitely pays dividends to keep propelling them up, driving it up, getting better equipment, putting the money back into the team, the race team, and the equipment. It does nothing but pay dividends, man. So that's something else you got to keep a lookout for with this new car and nobody really has a handle on it yet. Expect to see a lot of guys that you're not used to seeing inside the top 10, top 12 here in the next few weeks for sure. So there again, moving right into the next segment of the show. This is probably my second favorite behind the checkered flag for charity. It's the who's hot and the who's not. And I tell you what, tonight we have a first. We have a first, and you're going to see what this first is. But hey, taking over the top spot right there has got to be Kyle Larson. I like to call him Kyle the Martian Larson. I mean, out of this world, the dude's a talent. I think it doesn't matter what you put him in, the kid's going to win. I mean, if it's dirt, if it's asphalt, if it's gravel, I really don't think it matters. At the end of the day, the kid's amazing behind the wheel of a race car, and definitely could easily see back-to-back championships for that 5 team this year. Somebody's got to knock him off the pedestal. I think Elliott had a shot there. He kind of took him out. We're going to get to that here in just a little bit. But I tell you what, man, I don't know when the last time was we've seen such a dominating season like we saw last year out of it. Maybe like I alluded to Gordon's 1998 season. But I tell you what, Gordon and Johnson, I mean, we're going to have to start putting this name in these conversations if he gets another championship and keeps winning the way he did last year. I mean, we saw Jimmy and Chad Knaus win 7 championships together, 5 in a row. I think something you'll never see again in the sport. 80-plus wins, what they come home with. It's kind of like Gordon and Evernham there again, getting a lot of good wins there for the DuPont team in those 3 years. Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson had that communication. They have that same feedback. They communicate really well. It seems like Cliff Daniels goes around with them in the offseason to dirt races just to communicate and kind of learn maybe a little bit more of what he needs in the race car on Sundays from the dirt track racing that they do throughout the week and on the weekends in the offseason. So there again, they keep this dominance up. Maybe 5, 6, 7 more years we'll be talking about them, putting their name up there in the conversations of Evernham, Gordon, and Knaus, and Jimmy Johnson. We're just gonna have to wait and see, but pretty good stuff there. So New players in the top rank, man. As of 2022 season is underway, I tell you what, we are seeing a lot of guys that you're not used to seeing up there have really, really great runs, really good finishes here, contending for wins, as we saw with the 43, the 3, and the 99 of Daniel Suarez, man. So I think it's going to take a little bit for the new car to get figured out by what I like to call the big three, and I don't mean Harvick, Truex, and you know, whoever. And Denny Hamlin. What I mean by that is the big three: the Penske, the Hendricks, and JGR. You know, Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, those are the three big teams in NASCAR. They've got possibly, you know, the most talented drivers in the sport. Obviously, they put a lot of money into it. Their equipment's always good, no matter who's behind the wheel, and that pays dividends, especially in NASCAR. So, you know, I think we're going to be having some different guys up there contending for wins here. And I think it's a great thing for the sport. We went from having maybe 12 to 15 guys in the past 3 or 4 years that can contend for wins, and we're seeing that field grow. I mean, we saw it a little bit last year with having the different amount of winners we had through the first 10, 12 races. I think you're going to see something very similar this year. I mean, we'll see if Kyle Larson can be that first one to go back-to-back wins this year. But at the end of the day, I think you're going to see a lot of guys get wins that you're not used to seeing, and it's going to definitely mix it up, mix the field up for just tighter racing. Now, with that being said, as we continue through the season, you can guarantee that big three is going to get things figured out. Money talks and bullshit walks, as I like to say. So, you know, once they start pumping that money in and get the statistical data back off of these new next-gen cars, you can guarantee that you're going to see a lot of those guys up there in the top 7, top 10 every week. But until then, it's going to be a great show there with this next-gen car, and something to definitely put eyes on if you hadn't seen it yet. So that wraps it up for the Who's Hot. And now we're getting into the Who's Not, and like I told you guys to begin with, we're going to have a first on here. We're getting ready to get to it in just a minute, but the first top thing I got to stress out is on the Who's Not, it's got to be NASCAR and Goodyear on this bull crap tire that they made, man. We moved up from a 15-inch wheel with a tire with an inner liner. Now we're onto an 18-inch rim with a low-profile tire, no inner liner. I tell you what, we saw so many cautions there at California from an older weather racetrack that's abrasive. Chew these tires up. Prime example: Tyler Reddick in the lead, pressing the car, running it. Pops a tire, hits the wall, wham, bam. How many guys did we see ruin their day off of a pop tire? And it's definitely something that NASCAR's got to get a grip on. They need to go back and get with Goodyear, whether they need to put inner liners in it, whether they need to downsize that rim and tire size back down to something a little bit smaller to be able to put an inner liner in it. I have no idea what the answer is. I just know the answer's got to get figured out, and we got to get it changed, man. So that's definitely one thing they've got to get figured out. Now, the other thing is, like I said earlier, is the rules, man. I don't find it fair for a couple different things, especially with Kurt Busch. We failed pre-race inspection 3 times. We go on, we're not able to qualify, we're going to start dead last basically in the field, and then you have to do a pass-through penalty on top of people getting suspended, you know, whether it's crew members or whoever getting suspended for the race or multiple races. So I think that, to me, being a tail end of the starting field, not being able to qualify is steep enough alone. As I talked about last week, I think that crew members are going to become a very valuable asset in NASCAR. Depth chart is everything. You're getting ready to see these teams start building depth charts for pit crew members, just due to the simple fact if somebody's going to get DQ'd for 4 races or a race, somebody's got to step in and take it. So you're definitely going to see guys start building depth charts, as we see in other major sports, for those crew members. So something to keep an eye out for. Now that's part 1 on that. Part 2 on this for me is just going to be there again, something that they've got to get done. I mean, if a tire blows and you're stuck on the track, like we saw many times in California, you're stuck on the apron, you're not able to drive the car off. I don't feel like you should be penalized for having to be towed back to pit road. We saw NASCAR pulling guys back. They end up between 2, 3, 4 laps down in that race. To me, that's kind of BS. You guys brought the tire that pops. I'm not able to drive the car because of the way the car sits. What I think should happen, you tow them back to pit road, you put them on the tail end of the lead lap. That's it. The laps still count down. They fix the car. You put them on the tail end of the lead lap, all said and good. Not being 3, 4 laps down because you pop a tire that's not a good tire yet. and get penalized because you can't drive the car because you're stuck on the chassis or stuck on the frame or the suspension parts or whatever, the body of the race car, whatever it may be that gets you stopped. So that's something we got to get changed up. I think that the racing from the next-gen car has been absolutely amazing so far. I'm not going to down the whole car itself because it is made for some very exciting side-by-side, a lot of passing, a lot of drafting, good racing. But we've got to get these issues lined out before we get too far in this season. Otherwise, it's going to be a manipulated season through cautions and through kind of some other stuff. You're going to see a lot of good race cars get penalized due to the fact of not being able to drive off of that flat tire. So got to get it lined up, man. So here it is, the first time ever right here on Rubbin' and Grubbin', somebody made the hot list and somebody made the not list, man, and it's going to be Kyle Larson. Look, not taking nothing away from him. He's an amazing race car driver, probably one of the most biggest talents that's out there on the track. But at the end of the freaking day, man, you wrecked my boy. You wrecked your teammate. You took him out. Excuses, excuses. You didn't see him coming. I saw it coming on TV. You got guys that get paid on top of the damn stands to show you and tell you when these runs are coming. You know you saw him. You know that your spotter saw him. You bumped him in the wall. You ruined his day right there. Now, with that being said, I think a little rivalry's building. If you watched last year, Elliott probably could have had a couple more wins had it not been for Larson, the dominating performances through him. And not only that, I mean, it's kind of some BS, and it was a move that happens. Now, at the end of the day, it is racing. I'm not going to cry about it. We're going to move on to the next week and hopefully come home with that win. But I do feel a little bit of heat and contention and a rivalry growing there between the 5 and the 9. So I think it's great for the sport. I think it's something we got to get back in. We got to have rivalries. We got to have personalities. We got to have people speaking their mind, characters in the sport. What you saw with Chase Elliott coming back out, slowed down in front of Kyle Larson a little bit, not enough to get noticed by NASCAR, but trying to hold him up there. And then if you ask my honest opinion, he definitely brought that last caution out on purpose to try to manipulate the race and at least make Larson battle for it, if not lose it. So I say no harm, no foul, nothing happened. But at the end of the day, it's going to be something to watch out for and see if they get it lined up this week, which I'm sure they will. The articles that I've read, Hendrick, crew chief, spotters taking responsibility, Larson apologizing, Rick Hendrick, Chad Knaus, everybody wanting to sit down and get it squared up before we head here to Vegas. But at the end of the day, I love it. I think the rivalry is amazing, man. So here we are with the hard right turn, and I did this, and it's something that I've been thinking about over the past couple years. And what's up with Kyle Busch, man? That's what it comes down to. What is up with Kyle Busch? So it's a two-time champion, 2015, 2019. We saw him dominating the sport, 50-plus Cup Series wins. He's the all-time leading winner in Xfinity, all-time Truck Series. I mean, this guy's just freaking amazing behind the wheel, everything, right? But what's happened, man? We were so used to seeing him dominate and being consistent and contending for wins every single week. And this stat kind of blew my mind. From 2019, the end of 2019, to where we are now, Kyle Busch has 3 wins, man. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You got 2 last year, 1 in 2020, and we're used to seeing him with at least 5 to 6, who knows, 4, 5, 6, always being there in that final 4, and he just kind of has been missing it. So I don't know, maybe if the style of racing that we're doing now and the car setups have kind of outgrew his talent behind the wheel. I don't want to say it like that. I think that he's just as good as anybody else. He's definitely in the top 5 guys out there wheeling a car. But he's got to get it figured out because you're used to seeing him dominant. He's in his mid-30s there. He's probably got another 10 good years. But if you want to be in a conversation of the Gordons and the Pettys and this and that and the Earnhardts, you definitely got to get some more wins. He's got to start picking it up a little bit. But it's something I've been keeping an eye on. I took him twice. You guys know that. Daytona, I picked him. I really thought he was gonna take that one first time. This past week, I mean, the best finishing average out of the last 5 races at California. Battled back, finished 14th, but at the end of the day, he's got to get it together, man. So, moving right into this Las Vegas preview, I think it's going to be amazing. Like I've said numerous times, the first 5, 6 races we have going from Daytona to California to Las Vegas, into Phoenix, into an all-new Atlanta. The first 5 races are on 5 totally different style racetracks. And a lot of folks out there will go, okay, we're going into NASCAR's bread and butter of the 1.5-mile ovals. Well, here's the deal. It's a D-shaped 1.5-mile oval. It's the only one out there like this. The 2 sets of turns are different. I can tell you like this, what you're going to see out of Vegas, you're not going to see at Charlotte. We would say Atlanta, but Atlanta's changed. You're not going to see this at Kansas City. Every single mile-and-a-half racetrack has its own characteristics, and until these guys get a handle and setups on these cars, it's going to be hectic out there, man. So there again, moving right in, mile-and-a-half, D-shaped oval, back to Sin City there at Vegas. Going to be an absolutely amazing race. I tell you what, I don't know who's going to win it. We'll see what my predictions are, but we're going to have to find out, man. But keys to the race, it's going to be like this pretty much almost all season long. Clean air is still king with this next-gen car. Now, the one thing I will say is it looks like you're able to pull back up to leaders and draft and do some different things side-by-side racing. But clean air is king. We saw last week the tire wear and managing tires, I think, is going to come into play somehow, some way if you can do that. Pit stops are everything. We saw William Byron mess up. We saw numerous guys on pit road have some bad stops. Ryan Blaney did all day. I think Ryan Blaney might have had a shot there late, but it seemed like every time they came into pit to take tires, he'd lose everything he gained, 5-6 spots. So there again, track position, clean air, and pit stops are going to be everything that you need, man, to keep this thing going for sure and stay out front. So looking at the top 5, I mean, this is the first time that I've done this all year, but I got to take Kyle Larson coming back. He won last week there at California. He won Vegas last year. I expect him to turn around and have another really good, strong run here at Vegas this year. So that's why I take the 5 car number 1. 2 for me is a guy that there again, he's found himself up there contending for wins, and that's going to be Joey Logano. I think they showed what they can do there at California. I think he's got great experience at Las Vegas. He's been doing this long enough. You got to take him number 2 in my book. 3 for me, I got to go my boy Chase Elliott. As I said, he's one of the best game managers, if you would, out there. He doesn't push the car hard when he doesn't have to, but late in that race, you can guarantee if he's got the position, he's going to come on strong. He's going to contend for that win. I think Vegas is somewhere that he can go out and flex some muscle, so definitely make sure you're on the lookout for that 9 car this week as well. 4 for me, Ryan Blaney. A couple years ago, we saw him leading this race late. Came in under caution, green-white checker with 3 to go. Logano stayed out. He restarted, I think, 5th, ended up finishing 2nd. Couldn't quite get there to the leader, but look out for that 12 car to have another really good run. And 5 for me, rounding it out, it's got to be Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin's had mediocre runs. We saw him get into some trouble there in the 500 this past weekend, not in the top 10, struggled a little bit, but if he's going to get it turned around, Vegas is probably going to be a pretty good place for him. So definitely make sure you watch out for that 11 as well. Now, dark horses, after last week and what you saw out of the 99 camp and Daniel Suarez, I definitely think you got to keep an eye out for him. The guy is coming around. Trackhouse has surprised me from when they started last year to where they're at now. They came out hot. I tell you what, for only having a couple years as an organization under their belt, they're doing great. Now, they did buy Ganassi. They did get that race shop, so they did kind of propel themselves into the next level of ownership and, I think, equipment. So you definitely got to keep an eye out for the 99 and Daniel Suarez. I think he's going to be contending up there. I don't know if it'll necessarily be a win, but I think a top 10, top 12 finish for him there again, staying consistent as we go through the season is only going to do nothing but put yourself in a stronger position there when we make those playoffs. So watch out for the 99. Now, one other guy, I think that had an absolute rocket ship there at Auto Club Speedway, got caught up in some stuff, had to end up coming back all the way from 35th, 36th, and that's going to be Christopher Bell in the 20. I expect big things out of Christopher Bell in the 20. You got to watch out for him. He's a great talent. He's in great equipment. I think the kid could definitely come home and come out and contend for a win here at Vegas. Like I said, I think last week at California, he definitely would have had a shot. He was moving up through that field, and the way the cautions fell, I think he would have been able to put himself for at least a shot. But keep an eye out for Christopher Bell here coming in this week at Las Vegas as well, man. So here we are with that money line bet. Now look, we are in the hole. 3 races, $75 in the freaking hole right here to start the season off. I've been looking on a list, trying to take some better odds to where when we do hit, we do win a little bit more money. I'm done with that. I'm just ready to get a win, put us into the goods, man. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kyle Larson this week. The odds aren't great. I think they're 5-2, 6-2, something like that. Not much money to be made there. I just want to get a win, though. I feel like if we get a win, we can move it right on. We can carry it on, but let's get some good money in there. So look out for the 5 car. He won it last year. He won last week. I'll take him again here at Las Vegas to win this one as well, man. But hey, like I say all the time, man, if you guys haven't yet, please go out, like, share, follow all our social media. You can catch us on YouTube, subscribe to that. Definitely, you can check us out on Twitter. We got the Instagram, Facebook. You can also catch the show every single Wednesday, 6 until on Coach's Corner Facebook Live page. It's an awesome deal, man. But if you haven't yet, go out, like, share, follow all that social media for us, man. Hey, moving right into it. Arbor Man Tree Service. I got to give a big shout out there to Parker Eccles, man, over there at Arbor Man. I tell you guys all the time, if you need any kind of tree service done, make sure you give them a call. Locally owned, locally operated. If you need a free estimate, you know, on it, whether it's tree removal, stump grinding, just getting some stuff trimmed back, make sure you give Parker Eccles a call. You'll see that number for Arbor Man scrolling on the bottom of the screen. And, Lawrence switched it up on me. We're going on the top of the screen now, man. So you'll see it up top there. But as I say all the time, no job too big, too small, no tree too tall. Make sure you give Parker a call, man. So there again, moving into one of my favorite things about this whole thing I get to do up here at NASCAR, John and Adele, and everybody here at Coaches allows me to do. Man, checkered flag for charity. So usually I've said a swear word by now, so what the hell, I'll say one. We'll get the bucket up here. Boom, there it is, baby. So dollar goes in the pot. Basically, what it's for is every time I say a swear word, we throw it in there. Checkered flag for charity. Like I said, this season right here, what we're doing for a while, we're going to raise some money for Payson Thompson, man. Like I said, a very close friend of my wife's and myself passed away unexpectedly, left behind a younger daughter. We're raising some money, doing a lot of charitable events to raise an educational fund for her. So great folks, man. But like I say all the time, if you're up here at Coaches, you want to donate to the cause, you want to do a little charity, man, you want to feel good, tell your waitress, tell your bartender, tell any staff member here at Coaches. They'll make sure that money gets to the right place. Like I say, you can round it up. Doesn't matter. It all adds up. I say it all the time. Doesn't matter. Nickels, pennies, dimes, 10, 20s, 150s. Everything counts, man. But the way we do it up here between rubbing and grubbing, the checkered flag for charity is every single time that a car number wins, we donate money. And we all know that the 5 car of Kyle Larson won last week. 5 is never good enough. It's always going to be a 20 minimal. So there's 20 more dollars into the bucket. And only, let's see, that was 2 races in, man. We're getting ready to come up on 3. And already between that and what we've done with the Cooler Full of Joy here, man, we're at almost $700, $699 total. So like I say all the time, none of this is possible without the patrons of Coach's Corner and local stuff. All these things we do for the checkered flag for charity stay local. So like I said, man, help me, help somebody out there, help yourself, a little feel good. Come on by, donate some money for the cause, man, and get a feel good for the week. So now we're moving right in. That's it for the rubbing. We're moving right into the grubbing. And I tell you what, got a special little treat right here. I have not had this yet from Coaches, and I am so looking forward to tasting this because it is going to be absolutely amazing, as every single thing is that comes out of this kitchen. So like I say all the time, if you guys hadn't been here, come up here and check out some of these eats, man. So the onion rings, by the way, are probably the best onion rings ever. I eat these sober. I eat these intoxicated. I eat them with ranch. I eat them with ketchup. I eat them with every damn thing, man. Onion rings and tater tots out of Coaches are my 2 faves. We got this chicken Philly loaded up, onions, bell peppers, on the hoagie roll. Man, as soon as I get off this stage, I'm getting ready to take a bite of this, and we're going to see what it's working with. But I can guarantee you from the smell, if we had smell-o-vision and you could smell this at home, you'd be up here right now for one of these chicken Phillies out of Coaches, man. I promise you that. So getting ready to tear that up. Want to give a big shout out there to Green White Checkered over there with PJ Zuko, 104.3 ESPN. You can catch PJ and myself every single Sunday morning, 9 to 9:30 with Green White Checkered, catching you up on everything NASCAR news from Wednesday into Sunday. A little bit more structured. PJ does an amazing job putting that show together. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm honored to be a part of it, man. So big shout out over there to PJ Zuko again and ESPN Coastal 104.3 Green White Checkered. Every Sunday, 9 to 9:30, man. Great show. If you hadn't yet, make sure you check that out. So, hey, Coaches news, I tell you what, man, the biggest thing for me is what we got right here behind me. You got all kinds of live music coming up. I tell you this all the time. I think this weekend you got Sonic Temple, which is a local band, and FAQ's opening for them, which is one of my favorite local bands, man. If you have not seen either one of these guys, make sure you come check it out live right here, Coach's Corner, in the Sound Garden this weekend. Great music, man. Make sure you check that out. You can get your tickets in advance on Eventbrite. If they're available, if it's not sold out, you can catch them at the door as well. But I would suggest going on Eventbrite and getting those tickets bought before you even get here, man. Awesome, awesome place. Best place for live music in Savannah, right here, Coach's Corner, Thunderbolt, Georgia, man. So want to give a big shout out there again to everybody. Man, we got Coach Carl DeMasi does his sports report up here on the weekends. Lawrence told me last week he's going to start getting the midweek show back going. Love Coach DeMasi. Very, very educated, very smart man when it comes to sport and keeping you up with everything local, everything national sports-wise. Absolutely love him. Miss you, Coach. Hope to see you soon, brother. Hot Grits, you got to check them out. Travis and Spencer there again, breaking down everything in the sports world throughout the week. Really funny guys. If you hadn't checked that out, man, you can check out their podcast anywhere you stream your podcast. They're on Spotify. They're on everything, man. Hot Grits, make sure you check those guys out. Coming up soon, one of the greatest shows ever known to man that gets put on here at Coach's is going to be the 19th hole with the Brothers. Those boys are absolutely hilarious. I'm going to be making my special guest appearance on that show here this year, making my picks for the Masters. I got to give my input on them. These guys are, golf pros, man. They play a lot of golf. They're good at golf. I used to watch it a lot more than what I do now, but I still keep up with it a little bit. I'm going to be up there today, I'm sure, and make an educated guess. You can mark my words on that for sure. But before I get out of here, man, want to give a big shout out there to Michael Carter Racing. Struggled a little bit this past weekend, but I tell you what, lo and behold, come home, find out engine's a little bit short on horsepower. They're going to try to get that lined up here before they go back to racing. But I'm telling you right now, if you're looking to sponsor an up-and-coming race car driver, make sure you check out Michael Carter. Always looking for sponsors. Pretty sure you can catch him on Facebook, Michael Carter Enterprise. John and Adele Henderson here at Coach's sponsor that car as well. But he's always looking for more, man. So make sure you check him out. IMSA Mazda MX Cup Series. The kid is absolutely phenomenal, and I put it out there all the time. If there's a truck series team out there looking for a guy to race a road course, call Michael Carter, man. Local right here, Savannah area. The kid knows what he's doing. Put him in, man. Give him a shot. So, like I say again, want to thank everybody out there for tuning in. You can catch it live right here from Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, on Coach's Corner Sports Network, rubbing and grubbing every single Wednesday, 6 until I run out of breath or I run out of things to talk about. But want to make sure everybody has a great Wednesday night out there. Let you guys know I love you. I appreciate all the support. Like I say, go out, like, share, follow, all that social media, man. Subscribe. Does nothing. The more followers we get, hopefully the more money we bring in for our charity causes. And that's what it's all about, man. So make sure you're having a great Wednesday. Hug your loved ones. Make sure you give them a kiss, man. Get some great rest for coming into the weekend. Party it up right here at Coach's Corner. Best live music in Savannah, man. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. Lawrence had to find it. Bam. Wash your hands, y'all.
Wash your hands.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you feel up there?
I love it. I told Lawrence last week, I was like, I got to get a show up here. I mean, I want to do it up here before we go to Atlanta as well, because.
Well, you can be up here every week, Mom, it ain't storming.
Yeah, all right. Because I know the Atlanta race, I'm going
I
to.
love it back here. I want to use this screen and give everything we can.
Okay, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dude.
Move the middle one.
That thing's freaking awesome, man. But yeah, I know here in a couple weeks I'm gonna be up here pre-gaming before that Atlanta show.